Hi everyone, I'm Krista Moore and welcome to the Krista Moore Show. This show is brought to you by K-Coaching and ID Growth. This talk show format is a new way for everyone to learn through listening to industry experts and thought leaders as I have conversations with them and interview them. They're going to be sharing their growth ideas and their success stories. So I can't wait for you to meet AJ Titus. Now, when I was first introduced to AJ, I was really impressed because he's kind of like a kid. He's really young, but he has so much experience in the area of franchising. So he really had the passion and the energy that I was looking for to really learn from and understand what's happening in this world of franchising. He kind of exemplifies what I would describe as the new millennial entrepreneur. So he works for United Franchise Group, which is one of the largest franchisors in the world. They have over 1,400 franchises in 80 countries. He's leading their largest brand, which is Signarama. So I'd like to introduce AJ to everyone. AJ, are you there?
I am. How you doing, Krista?
Hey, how are you? See, I told you he's just a child.
Well, you know what, Chris, I didn't tell you yesterday, but my birthday was yesterday, so I'm a little older today. So I'm not as much as a kid.
And I know that you're older than you look, so I'm teasing you a little bit.
Yep.
But I would love for you to give everyone a background on yourself. Give us the lowdown on AJ.
Great. Well, my name, as Krista said, my name is AJ Titus, and I'm the sales director for Signarama. And it's really near and dear to my heart because my dad actually started the business 31 years ago. So I've literally grown up in the industry. I've grown up in the sign industry and grown up in a franchise organization. So I did everything from marketing, sales, sweeping the floors, everything that a small business owner would do. And then I got the blessing of helping other small business owners grow their business. And so my dad, he'll joke, he wrote his 5th grade school paper on how to start a franchise. and so I kind of followed in those footsteps and continue to grow the business, and I live, breathe, and eat franchising.
You know, there's an awful lot that I want to talk about today, and I think I'd like to start out first by really understanding what would you say the top 3 best things are about being a franchise owner? If I were to ask you the top 3, how would you position those?
The top 3 of being a franchise owner is we have a proven system. So if you are missing direction and you need something to be passionate about or a way or a how-to to do something, we have a proven system. And number 2, we have our training. So you're going to come and you're going to train about the industry you may not be fully invested or know a lot about or come from. We're going to train you from soup to nuts on how to run that business and about that industry. And then the last thing would be the support. You get that support, you get the boots on the ground, the people who actually come in and help you with the business. That's the 3 things I would say, Krista.
Yeah, and when I think about a franchise, that support thing really resonates with me because I'm thinking it's lonely sometimes, right, to start your own business or have your own company. But it sounds like with the franchise you have a lot of support in a community and a network of like-minded peers.
Oh, you do?
Tell me a little bit more about that, and maybe you could give us an example of what a franchisor does to help a new franchise owner be successful, like maybe specifically.
For sure, and what Krista's alluding to with the network is, we have, for Signarama, we have around 800 locations, and so now if you went in your own sign business, those would all be competitors. With us, you actually have a network of not only your support people, but the other franchise owners who can help you get jobs done, but they can also help mentor you. So we have a mentoring program where new franchise owners are paired with franchise owners who've been with us for a long time, and they can coach them. A fun story would be, I went down to see our Deerfield Beach store. I'm here in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I went to go see our Deerfield Beach store, but who's in our Deerfield Beach store are the franchise owners from Sarasota. They're actually over there learning from the owners over there, seeing how they operate, how they manage people. That's a big plus of owning a franchise.
So I guess they don't really see themselves as competitors in that regard, right? Well,
No, and they actually afterwards went on a cruise, so they're actually friends now.
they like each other.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that everybody, has the DNA, let's say, to be successful in owning a franchise. So I would imagine that there's certain traits that you've seen over the years in those that have been successful versus those that haven't, maybe like success factors. How would you describe some of those, or maybe the ideal profile of a franchise owner?
Sure. We've put a lot of people into business, and so typically the people who we put into business, they don't have the industry experience, so they don't come from the sign and graphics world or another brand. We have an embroidery, screen printing, promotional products business. They don't come from that world. They're usually people in corporate America who are kind of sick of working for someone else and building wealth for other people. We look at operation experience. Do you have experience in running a company, in running a department? Do you have sales experience? Have you sold widgets to other people? Have you sold bigger priced items? What kind of sales role did you have? Did you have a marketing role? How did you promote your business? How did you promote your department? Those are all things we look for in a business, but typically you don't have to have the industry experience. We're the masters at that. We can help train you on that portion of it.
And the first thing that comes to mind for me is that they have some experience in sales and marketing. I would think that would be kind of at the top of the line. I think about there's a lot of coaches, business coaches, life coaches, and they're the best coaches in the world. They're great at their trade, but they don't know how to scale a business or to grow, through sales and marketing efforts. And I think about that when I think about franchising a little bit. And I'm wondering if those retired from corporate want to have a franchise could be as successful if they didn't have sales and marketing experience, or do you like them when getting maybe young with not the corporate experience but the entrepreneurship? Like, which one do you think is the better model?
What's funny is yes, I would agree with what you first said, Krista. Sales and marketing are probably our number one thing we look for. But I've seen a lot of people come in that have a full operational mind, and sales and marketing are probably their weakness, but they hire their weakness, and we advise them on hiring their weakness. It's really good with a franchise because you have that model. And so we know how many employees should be in the store. We know what they should be producing. We know what they should be doing. We know what the job description is. Where do you fit in that job description? Where do you fit in that, for lack of a better term, that cog in the factory? Because if you're not the sales and marketing person, okay, that's fine, but you're going to manage the sales and marketing person to help drive your business.
Yeah, I love that. So I like what you said about hiring your weakness. I'll remember that. That's a good one. So I have to say, though, there's a lot of stereotypes about, and perhaps negative stereotypes about franchisees, maybe more old school view of franchises than today. But, the first thing that comes to mind is that it's kind of corporate. You really lose that entrepreneurial spirit. What would you say to that?
Well, there's definitely a range. So there's definitely, depending on what franchise you pick, there's going to be stricter franchises. There's going to be less strict franchise owners. We're probably on the less strict side of franchise owners because we know that our best ideas come from our franchise owners. The inventor of the Big Mac wasn't McDonald's. It was a franchise owner in McDonald's who created it and sent it to corporate, and now it's probably the world's most famous sandwich. But again, it depends. I would tell you firsthand that the system is what you make of it. So we know the system works, but each store is going to have its different identity. I'm in our store in Dallas, Texas. They have a big wall wrap of the Dallas skyline, and I got that same question in that store. And I told the person, he said, "You see this wrap behind me? It's a great wrap, but I could promise you it's not in every store because each store has its own identity, and the owner is going to really drive and promote the business. They run the system. We have the system and the process. They're going to make it successful, so it's going to really take the mold of what the owner wants the business to be."
Yeah, and that's where that entrepreneurial spirit can really kind of rise to the occasion. And you mentioned about local, and that makes me also think of another stereotype that might be negative, is that saying that a franchise really isn't local, like McDonald's really isn't a local business, it's a corporation. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that couldn't be more from the truth. Owning a franchise is local business. Going to shop at a franchise location is shopping local. You know, they're each independently owned and operated, and each franchisor has their own model, but when the franchise owner sells their business, we don't get profit from it because it's not our business. They get the profit. They get their retirement fund. They move on, or they pass their business on to the next generation, a son or daughter who wants to take over the business. So it doesn't go in our pocket. You know, we have fees, and that's how we make our money, but we don't own those businesses. We have 1,400, between UFG, 1,400 independently owned and operated franchise locations. So you are shopping local when you're shopping at a franchise.
Yeah. And the other objection that I think you probably hear a lot of that I thought I would just throw out there as you're speaking of royalties and fees is that it's expensive. It's expensive to invest in a franchise, and you know the question is it worth it or not?
Sure. No, it's a good point. And you know, we do have fees. You know, we make our money on royalty fees, but it's percentage based. So the better the franchise owner does, the better we do. So we're incentivized to help the franchise owner do as well as they possibly can. But I'll tell you this, when you're opening up a business, you have to source the equipment. You have to source the furniture. You have to find the software. You have to make your own way of doing things, your own system. You have to find the location. You have to secure your financing. We do that turnkey. So we're going to help you save money on the front end of opening your business. And then on top of that, we're going to help you save money on cost of goods. We're going to help you save money on your marketing. We're going to help you save money on your website. And by the time all of those savings are calculated, you saved money overall. And that's the beauty of franchising, because now you're not buying you're buying based on one person. You're buying based on the entire system. So this is not just one Signorama. It's over 800 Signoramas worldwide. So the vendors and support are going to listen to you much differently.
Yeah, that's exciting, actually, when you think about that. So a lot of it is positive and very intriguing, especially as a startup business. I'm thinking, gee, what if I stepped into my job on day one and had all that? Where would I be today, right? But what are some of the cons? We know there are some, so let's just say what they are.
Well, franchising isn't for everybody. And I'll be the first person to tell you, you know, there's people who want to do, you know, whatever they want. They want to be more free will. They don't want to run and follow a system. Then franchising is probably not for you. You know, if you don't want to follow a proven system that's been successful for years, then that's fine. And you want to create your own, and you want to be the person to be the Ferrari and make those left and right-hand turns quickly. And okay, great. And you can do a lot of that in franchising, but there are some restrictions. And so if you're more of that person, I'd say it's not for you. But if you're someone who is entrepreneurial and wants to grow and can follow a system and tweak and do your best with that, franchising would be for you. But yeah, I would definitely say more the restriction side.
Yeah. And so I'm assuming that a process that you use is vetting the potential buyer, and at the same time they're understanding whether your franchise model is a good fit for them. That kind of works.
It is.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what we do, Krista, is there's a process. So when we get someone who's interested, they'll call us, we'll call them, whatever the case may be. We take them to stores. We show them what our concept's all about. We dispose them. We give them as much information about us as possible. Then we actually fly them down to West Palm Beach on our dime. They don't pay anything. We fly them down. We put them up in a room for a night, and they tour our facility, meet our people. They go to see 3 more locations, and we really give them as much information as possible. And by the time they leave West Palm, we have a good understanding of who that person is and if they would be a good fit, and they have a good understanding of us. And is this something they would want to partner? This is a partner they would want. And so that's really our process, Krista, when we go about that.
Yeah. So I'm going to switch gears a moment. I would imagine that we have some people in the audience that are considering franchising their own company. Maybe that's what they see they need to do to continue to expand and grow. I know you have a lot of experience on that side of it as well. So what advice or what thoughts do you have for those that are considering franchising their own company?
Yeah, it's one of we have a consulting firm that does this here, but it's a lot of fun. It's how do you scale your business? Typically, you get to that point when you own your own business, say, how do I scale? How do I get to that next level? And there's really two options. There's really franchising, and there's really go public, get some money, get some angel investors, and open up your own big corporation. Both are viable. Just you got to pick which one's best for you. When you're looking to franchise your business, I'd probably say three things are the most important thing. Number one would be, do you have a written system? Do you have your process written down? Is there something that I can give someone in a book and say, oh, yes, I understand how to run your business, how to run your store, how to run your restaurant, whatever the concept is. Can I give that to someone and they can duplicate that? Number two, is it something unique? Is it something that people want to do? Is it something that you didn't see down the road? That was the big thing with McDonald's, is the whole speedy system. Burgers weren't a new, unique thing, but the system and how to create it very quickly and really move through speed was the most important thing for them. And then number three would be, do your research. There are over 5,000 different franchise concepts around the world. That it's not just McDonald's, it's not just the big corporations. There's a lot of concepts out there, and a lot of it's public knowledge. A lot of the FDDs, franchise disclosure document, you can look online, you can find yourself. Read them. Look at your competitors and who they would be. Research and see what they do for fees, what they do for support. You have to be careful when you're looking at a franchise, because it's not difficult to franchise. It's difficult to have a track record and have a good franchise.
Yeah. So what would you say to those that want to franchise but still want to maintain their own business? I'm sure you've seen that. What is your advice there?
That's the million-dollar question in franchising when you start. There's two trains of thought on this. I'll share the first one, and then I'll go my train of thought. The first one is, have a company store, keep running your business, and franchise off of that, which is good. The argument is you can test things in there. You can use your hub or your existing business to be kind of the guinea pig for the other franchise owners. I go with the other train of thought. Us at corporate, we don't have any company-owned stores in any of our brands, because we don't want to be in competition with our franchise owners, or even at the least bit be perceived to be in competition. We're a franchise support company. We don't make signs. We don't make any of the products that we sell with any of our franchise owners. We just help them be as successful as possible. And that's the train of thought I go down. We have some test stores, we have some test markets, some franchise owners who've agreed to test certain products, and that's how we really keep the R&D process going and get things moving. But that would be my advice. Don't keep the store. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and this is something that I was thinking about over the past couple of days in preparation for this interview. I spent last week with couple thousand people that were small business owners in an industry where it's shifting and they're losing market share, and they're trying to get creative around what is a new and better product or service that they could sell to their existing client base. And I hadn't put, like we're talking about Sinorama today, but I hadn't put Sinorama and that industry together so much until I was interviewing with you. So tell me about, well, let me just give you a little bit of background. So they might have a retail store, or they might not. But if they have a retail store, they might be saying, gee, do I keep this retail store? They might own the building. But are they a good candidate for a franchise, or do you shy away from existing businesses bolting on another brand?
No, we don't shy away from that. We have a lot of franchise owners who do a couple of different things. They'll do, first they may have had a business that's in a similar category. So we had a business in the past that had a stamp company, a rubber stamp company, that they became a Sinorama because they saw where the rubber stamp company was going and going towards online sales and things of that nature. So they said, we're going to be a sign company. We're going to still sell rubber stamps, but we're going to become Sinorama, and now they're full-time Sinorama. We have other companies that they'll have a Sinorama and their business next to each other, and they'll share customer data because we're a business service company. So if you're in the business service sector or that industry vertical, you're going to be able to sell to the same people. So we do that all the time. I think that it would be a really good thing, and it actually helps you get into an industry you may not be knowledgeable about, but you know there's something there, and then you get that brand recognition right away instead of going through the process of building that as well.
And you have the customer base. I mean, that's
You do.
half the battle. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're selling to businesses. That's interesting. We keep talking about Sinorama, but I wanted to ask you what the other brands were.
Sure.
For my own curiosity, I think I know 2 or 3 of them, but for our audience, what are the other, I guess you've got 7 other brands.
Sure. No, so Sinorama is the largest full-service sign and graphics business, fully promoted, that some of you may know as Embroid Me. We changed the name to actually get into more industry verticals. It's another great example of our franchise owners giving us advice on, hey, we used to do embroidery, screen printing, promotional products, and we were heavy in embroidery. Now we're way more promotional products, so we're able to change the name to capture more of that. So that's our second brand, fully promoted.
I'm sorry, I want some clarification on that, only because I know we probably have promotional products companies on the phone. So it used to be Embroid Me, or that's the new name?
It used to be Embroid Me. That was we founded that business in 2000. So the first store was in West Palm. It's still there today. It's owned by a franchise owner, and it was primarily an embroidery company that slowly added promotional products, and now our mix is way more promotional products than embroidery. So we made that change proactively.
But did you change the name?
We did, to fully promoted.
Fully promoted. That's the part that I missed. Sorry. Okay, so the company name is Fully Promoted.
Yes.
Got it. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. And then Super Green Solutions, our other brand, and that's an energy-efficient product company. So they do solar panels, tankless water heaters, wind turbines, and they do energy consulting. Transworld Business Advisors is our other brand, and they do business brokerage. They help connect buyers and sellers of businesses together. Experamac, which is a used computer business. They buy, sell, trade, and repair iPads, HP laptops, cell phones, things of that nature. Venture X, which is a shared cooperative workspace. So think of Regis for people who look like me who want to share a space, and actually it's like a gym membership for workspace. Paramount Tax Services, which is our tax and accounting services franchise, kind of like an H&R Block, but our specialty is we're CPA driven, so only CPAs own these franchises. I know I'm forgetting some off the top of my head. The other one would be, I have to double check. We have 8 brands total now.
Yeah. I think
but it's going. John Smith Subs is our other one. John Smith Subs. So we do cooked subs, steak, chicken, sautéed, and they sell French fries as well. So we have that's our first food business.
So that's a wide variety, right?
It is. Yeah.
It is a wide variety.
It is.
So maybe I want to franchise Kate Coaching. I'll have to talk to you about that.
Give me a call.
Systems down. Yeah, I appreciate it. So I know that when I started my company, there was, just that sense of freedom and ownership that I really enjoyed. And I'm just wondering, with your experience when you are meeting some of these new franchise owners, what is it like? What does that feel like to be your own boss?
I mean, that's why you own your own business. I mean, people who work for someone else never truly get that full freedom of owning your own business, And at the end of the day, everyone is meant for their own thing. So if you want to start your own business, I highly encourage it. Some people don't want to start their own business, and that's fine. And it's a lot of work to start your own business. But the joy of being able to say, hey, I'm going to close today, or I'm going to have this weekend, or I'm going to pick when I can take off, or I'm going to pick my religious holidays to go off, or I'm going to really build something here that I'm going to sell, and that's my retirement. I don't just get a cake and some streamers and say happy retirement. No, I actually get something, an asset that I'm going to sell, and I'm going to make money, or I'm going to build something that I'm going to pass on to the next generation. And so I'm building something for my kids. That's what business ownership and being your own boss is all about.
Yeah. No, I think that's well said. I appreciate that. I really want to thank you for joining us today, and I personally learned a lot. I'm sure our audience did as well. So stay in touch, please.
Absolutely.
We're going to show a a PowerPoint slide with some contact information.
Great.
And we like to do that, so if anybody wants to reach out to you or connect with you. What do you think the
Great.
best way? Are you okay with that? I'm assuming.
No, absolutely. Just shoot me an email if you want to connect with me. I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks so much, AJ. Take care. We'll talk with you soon.
Thank you so much, Krista.
Great. So I hope you all enjoyed today's show and learning more about the whole franchise world. I'm pretty excited about it. And just know that the Krista Moore Talk Show is live the third Wednesday of every month. And it is really just trying to bring you some special guests that we can learn about growth ideas and success stories. And you'll find all our recorded sessions of any of our shows out on the Krista Moore Talk Show website. Just click on past shows. So if there's somebody that you want to share this show with today because you think they'd be interested, just send them there and they can listen to the recorded session. Also, you can register for next month's show. And we're going to have Corey Mosley, and he's the founder of a company called Presence Principle. He teaches how to be credible and likable and bankable, which is something I think we all can learn from. So I'm looking forward to hearing his methods and his concepts there. Just know that at K-Coaching, we care about you and we care about your success. So we'll see you next month.